So we'll do a quick review. So go ahead and show me the crossovers, and we'll see what's going on with them, okay?
Heel. Heel.
That was a good one. Okay, go ahead and come to a stop. So where are you having trouble?
I mean, those were better, I'll be honest.
Well, yeah, those were fine, but there's one thing that I saw that's probably why you're still having trouble.
I still feel like he gets ahead of me, especially on walks. He still feels like he's out here a little bit.
Okay.
It's hard to get that first leg kind of.
Right, so if he's ahead of you, what does that tell us?
He's not.
You need to turn.
No, there
Yeah,
we go.
right. And then what else?
Great question. I don't know.
You're not slowing down.
Oh.
Well, that's part of it, right? But he's saying he's already ahead. So if he's already ahead, slowing down is actually out of the picture because he's not paying attention. You said turn, and what else? What do you do when we do those turns?
Oh, is that?
And tap, right? And then what that also tells me is if he's gambling that, we're not high enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Anytime there's any issues with leash walking stuff or obedience, and once the dog's got a good concept of it, which this is very quick, okay? So like me personally, let's say I took Brody, after I taught him how to heel, I could go on an hour-long walk and maybe go on do a couple of turns, but I'm already bumping that number at a reasonable jump where he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna stop around. I'm gonna just be here, right? So when I came in, I think you were practicing a little bit, and I saw he was forging a bit, right? What's your current number?
I just went from 51 to 55.
55, okay. So when you go on your walks with Brody, I'm assuming you have to do some turns in the beginning. Mm-hmm. At what point do you feel like he locks in and it's like he's pretty good for the rest of the walk? Like, what's your number?
48 was standby this past week.
I got up to 68 this week.
Okay.
68?
Yeah.
Okay, and then after the 68, what happened?
He was just fine.
Okay, and then how long was that walk afterwards, would you say?
Probably like 4 blocks.
4 blocks? Okay. And then how long, like, what was the total distance you walked?
Probably like 2 miles.
2 miles? So what's 4 blocks, like a quarter mile?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1.75 miles, you're doing a lot of turning and stuff.
Yeah.
And you end up on 68, and then he's great, okay? So then what I do is,
Start.
next walk, 68,
Yeah.
right? Because so when we do in the beginning, because he's not meant to do this stuff, right? He's a dog. He's meant to be out mating and hunting and peeing on stuff, playing and chewing on tree bark, right? That's his thing. This obedience stuff is human created. Humans created this so that we could have control over our dogs. So in the beginning, well, one is I have to teach you to teach him, right? Plus he's learning. Is we do that lower number to the, we work our way up. So then for you, it's like, oh yeah, we always start at 25, but we always end at 75. And that's when it's perfect. And if you do that for a week or 2 weeks, then it's safe to assume to go to 75, right? Because you've already done that homework. People can sometimes get tied up on the fact of like, well, he was doing good on like 48, right? But then the next day, if 48 is not working, then it's 68, okay? He tells you what's too much. So go ahead and let your slack completely go, just hold the handle, okay? And go ahead and just pop him in the heel, just like that, okay? Heel. Good, go ahead and do a pivot, good pivot. Good. Try doing, after this pivot, try a left turn. right? Now, right there, when you went into that left turn, did you see it?
Yeah.
He's already starting to go ahead a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So this is considering the environment, right, is pretty good. So go ahead and slow those stop. Right? So then he gets ahead of you a little bit. May I? Heel, tap. Tap, tap. Tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. 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 So, 55 still. Okay, so that's actually a good number right now. Just grab your leash, and I said, follow. The moment I move, tap. Tap, tap. I want him to be spaced out because it gives me opportunity to make his ass run. Okay, so obviously this is a realistic walk. Heel. Yeah. But once I start to go into this slower pace, but you can see how paranoid he is now. Yeah. That, because he's stressing out about holy crap, who is this guy? Right? Good.
Yeah, we try to anticipate you more.
Yeah, right. So here, the craziness that I did doesn't really matter. Okay? It was really this. So me moving very quickly and sharply and randomly, plus the fact that the moment if I move, if he didn't move in and this was kicking in, it's making him paranoid. So then he's more worried about me than he is concerned about being distracted from the environment. Right? So for you, simple, you don't have to do the craziness. It's just that number, right? So as soon as you start that walk, heel, tap. If he's not moving, I'm kicking in every single time. I'm not creating a window. And because there is no window, he's not going to want to play with that. So if he starts to get ahead of me, like here, a tiny little bit, tap. And you can see how his head's moving. There we go, good boy. Right? So all I would do is play with that number and just simply those turns. Okay, as soon as you hit that right number, 68 for example, then it's like, I walked for 2 miles and didn't have to turn. And didn't have to because when you came to that final stop, he actually came over here, then backed up. Right? So he corrected, and the human goes like, oh, but the dog fixed it. I'm like, yeah, but the dogs have never made that mistake in the first place.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. Because that becomes a window. So then if he's like, well, I can always get away with this and come back to this, he'll do it. Okay? So, right? So he's got the exercise for sure. You guys have done a good job with that. It's just the number aspect. So let's go ahead and try that heel again. Just move, tap, move, tap, tap, tap. There you go. Yep. Oh, it's okay. Hold it in your, since we're giving full slack, hold it in your right hand. It'll take up a little bit more slack so that doesn't happen. Good, and just relax those arms. Good pivot. Tap, yep, there you go. Keep forward, keep forward. Keep moving, tap. There he goes, good. There you go. Try a left turn. Good turn. You're gonna try another one. So those you led with your left leg, that's why you were pushing into him. Try with your right leg. There you go. Much better. Then slow to a stop. There. Okay. So one is walk assertively, and you don't have to walk fast, walk assertively, but it's just like we're moving, right? And when I go into those curves, if I am going to go into them, like kind of off the cuff, I read it. Right? So there was sometimes you saw me whacking with my leg, and he went, whoa. So when that happens, he's got to find the balance of being on that hip, but then not being so close, because then he's also going to get in my way. So then I make him really paranoid about being too far away from me, but then being too close to me, and then the dog's really focused. Okay, and it looks like it's fancy and like complicated and stuff. It's super simple. You can achieve that just with the turnaround stuff and just that appropriate number. And everything else will fall into line. So if you ever feel like, man, this feels weird or this isn't working like it's supposed to, it's usually not slowing down or the number. Okay? And then I saw you being a bit more kind of generous with those taps.
Yeah.
And then when you locked up, because when you first started, you're like, come on, let's go. Like as if for the request. And when I took him from you, I'm like, yo, and I moved. And he was like, what? And I'm like, tap, 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 tap. And he was, come on. Right? And then the rest of the time, when he put the brakes on, and you stopped with him. Did you see that?
When he stopped?
He stopped. He started going like this, and I was like, move, 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 tap, tap, tap. Is most people's inclination if the dog stops, is they stop. And the dog learns that. And I want him to learn, you have to, right? So then you just keep your momentum, tap, 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 bump it right into, coming, boom, okay? Easy fix. So this week, you've been at 48, you've been at 68, let's try 58. Be at the middle, okay? See how that affects the walks. If it's like, this walk can be better, 63. This walk will be better, 68. Okay, just think of it that way. And then once you're like, wow, that made a big difference, and we can actually go on a solid walk. You found your number, or at least your range. Okay? I see we have our long leash today.
Okay.
All right, let's go to grab that long leash, pop it on. And what we'll do here is we'll switch leashes. We'll take that one. We'll put this one up and we'll take this one off. Yeah. So that's a nice leash. You want to get all very good for and stuff. So you can put this one on. I'll take that for you.
Nope.
So the long leash on?
Correct. And you're going to clip to the same range. And who's going to do the first batch of recalls here? All right, and then I'll have you hold the short leash, please. So it's going to be a two-person exercise. Okay, so I'm going to show you here the long leash. He is. You right-handed or left-handed? How do you hold the remote?
Right.
You want your right to go to get your remote out? Okay, so I think it's easiest if you take the leash over your right thumb, with that hand, okay? Then go to put the remote in, and then you're gonna put your finger there, right? You're gonna drape the leash over your left hand, like this, okay? So what you're gonna be doing is when Brody's coming towards you, you're gonna wanna pull that slap out. So you'll be doing this where you pull it back and then just throw it on the ground, like that, okay? The reason why we're doing that is because when you're outside practicing, is he's gonna have more space. So if you leave it completely slack, let's say he's coming to you, but then decides to pass you up, well, he's gonna go 30 feet the other way. So when you shorten it, you're giving him less range of motion to make it easier to correct. So this way you're not going back and forth with, you know, a 30-foot line. The next thing I want you to get used to doing, is once you're done reeling in your leash, you're going to take your hand like this and this. Okay? That locks your leash. So if for whatever reason, if you decided to just book it, a lot of people hold a leash like this, you're going to get rope burn. Okay? When we do this, he might pop you a little bit, jolt you a bit, but he's not going to feed that leash through. You don't need a tight grip, you just need a nice firm grip, and it'll lock that leash to prevent that rope burn from happening. Okay? If you feel it feeding through, it shouldn't happen, but if it does, I suggest you just let that go, because you still have this. Okay? So if anything, you're going to get this motion. Okay? So I've had people get rope burns before, they suck. Trust me, you don't want it to happen to you. So, and this command is very coordination heavy. Okay? You're not going to get everything on the first try. That's why we practice. I'm going to go over everything with you. The main things to remember here is, let's go ahead and I'm going to have, let me move this way. And then hold right there. And then you're going to come this way. Okay? And then hit the end of your leash. That's good right there. All right, so now go ahead and take up a little bit of slack. Okay, so you see how there's like a little bit of tension here? And if you pull a little bit more, like you'll end up pulling on Brody. Yeah, like right there, right? We want to time that tension with the tapping. What's our number now?
55.
55. We're going to go down because we're teaching something new, so we always go down when we teach something new. We're going to go down to 28. So it's going to start. Okay? It's going to start with that tension, right? And you're going to time that tension with the tapping, and I'll coach you through it, and it'll be like tap, tap, as you're pulling back, and then you're also going to be moving backwards. Once we see Brody move, you're going to go ahead and drop that leash, okay? As he's moving towards you, you then stop the tapping and begin to reel in that leash and just drop it on the ground, okay? Now when you're doing this, you're also going to be moving backwards, okay? So there's a lot of things going on. Main thing to remember in the beginning is tension, tap, tap, tap. He moves, you drop. He comes to you, you move backwards, and you just throw that leash on the ground. Okay?
No words.
No words, yeah. So we're conditioning him to respond or learn to what the e-collar is. So go ahead and get that tension going. And tap, 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 tap. Let's go ahead and bump it. Let's go to 33. Tap, 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 tap. 36. Tap, 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 tap. 40. Tap, tap, tap. 44. Yep, tension, tap, 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 tap. A little bit more tension. Tap, tap. Let's go to 48. Tap, tap, tap. 53. Good. Tension. Tap, 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 tap. 58. Tap, tap, tap. A little bit more tension. Tap, tap, tap. Now drop. Move backwards. Yep, there you go. Good. Hold right there. Wait a moment. Tap. Wait. Tap. Praise. You can praise them.
Oh,
There you go.
boy.
Good. Now you're going to say the word break.
Great.
Good. We're going to repeat that 4 more times.
I'm calm. No, that's for me.
It's wrapped around his leg there.
Was that okay
Yeah, well, that was good. It's just we have to figure out, because he's more physically resilient. That's why, you know, we went from 30 whatever to 58, and then 58 is when he started responding. Let's go ahead and move a little bit more this way so you have some space. That's good right there. Go ahead and hold.
Nope. Wait, I didn't know where to go.
It's okay.
I didn't just tap you.
This is why we do the 2 leashes, because he's going to figure it out at some point, and he's going to start prematurely running. So this allows us to keep him in place. Go ahead. Tap, tap, back, drop. Good. Reel in that leash. Then hold right there. Tap, tap. Now move backwards, away from him. Tap. Hold right there. Good. Wait a moment. Praise. And 3 more times. So when he's coming towards you, like let's say he starts to deviate, you want to point your body to face Brody, and then tap and move away from him. So like let's say that moment when he went to your left there, you would have turned and you would have went back that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're always facing Brody, but always moving away from him. Okay?
Brody.
Yep. Tap, tap, tap. A little bit of tension. Tap, tap, drop. There you go. Good. Hold right there. Yep. Back tap, tap. Good move. Excellent. Hold right there. Good. Praise. Now tap here for the sit again. Tap, tap. Yeah, so you should keep that butt down. There you go. Praise again. Good. And release. Good. We're going to do 2 more. There we go. Thank you. Tap, tap, and drop, and back pull. Good. Hold right there. Wait a moment. Good. Praise. Good. We're going to do 1 more.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. Good. Tap, tap. There you go. Drop back. That's good right there. Excellent. And praise. Good. Let's go and swap handlers. Good. Do you want me to review the hand stuff with you? You got it. Yep. Correct.
I'm just gonna pull here,
So then, with your three fingers, there you go, like that. And then the lock. Perfect. And tension. Tap, 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 tap. A little bit more tension. Tap, tap, drop. Yep, and back, back.
Walk back.
1, 2, that's good right there. Wait a moment, tap. Good, praise. Good. We're gonna do 4 more.
Yep. Yep, good. Drop. Back. Tap, back, tap, back. Good right there. Hold. Tap. Got it. Praise. Yeah, the boy. Good. 3 more. We're at what number now?
58.
Let's go to 63. Tap, tap, good. And back. 1, 2, that's good right there. Good praise. Attaboy. Tap for the reposit. Tap, tap. Wait right there. Good. Now praise again. So I'm going to just point out there, because you started praising him, right? He got excited, forgot about the task at hand.
Stood up.
You corrected him, right? And then he came back to you and put the butt back down. Okay? Yep, tap. Good. So here, just showing like, he's getting the concept. He's understanding in this case, the remote means to come to you, but also to put that butt down. And then when he prematurely tried to leave and you tapped him, he right away came back in and defaulted to like, I need to return. Okay, so these are things that we want to see. I never want to see dog run away from the remote. If anything, I want them to run to the owner. Okay, we're going to try a couple more. Good. Tap, tap. It's okay. Tap, 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 tap. A little bit of tension. There he goes. Good. And tap, tap back. Good. Hold right there. Back tap, 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 back. There you go. Good. Back tap, back tap. Yep, back tap. Right there. Wait. Tap. Okay, now what you're going to do here, you're going to stay where you are. Shorten that leash a little bit more. Tap, yeah. Okay, tap, tap, right, to bring them in closer. That's good right there. Go ahead and praise. Now, that was good. So he gets distracted, right? The leash and all that stuff. So in this scenario, most people tend to stop because they're like, oh, the dog's tangled, and they'll try to reset. And I always, as much as possible, make the dog work through that, because in life, you're not going to have time to reset. You know, something's going to be happening, and it's going to be like, crap, I need you to return. And you're gonna have, and it might be like another dog chasing him, you know, with play. It might be he's running towards something, you know, dangerous or whatever. And there's going to be other factors involved. That here, there was something distracting him, and it was like, look, that leash bothering you is not important. You coming over here is. Okay? So I will say be mindful. Like, let's say it wraps around his legs. Like, I, as much as possible, again, try to work through that. If it looks like it's wrapped too bad, you know, there is the potential that he could break his leg. I had that happen to someone. They had their dog on a long leash, and the dog was playing in a group of dogs, and he got too tangled up and it broke its leg. So I will say be mindful, but as much as possible, try to work through those situations because it helps him work through like distraction and like stress and stuff like that. Okay?
If you get better at holding the slack, there shouldn't be as much of an issue, right? That's just us not keeping that.
Oh, yeah, but it's really not I get what you're saying, but if it's still like he needs to get his ass back.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's try one more. And boy. Tap. Yep. And back tap. Yep. There you go. Hold right there. Good. Brace. Yeah, boy. Good. And we went from 58 to what, 63?
Yep.
Let's go down to 61. All right, so what we're going to do here, same exercise, but instead of putting that tension first, you're actually going to leave it a little slack, kick in with the tapping first, and then if he responds to that, perfect, back up, reel it in. Otherwise, you would then add in the leash pressure, okay? So we're just reversing where they come in. Okay?
Come here, bud. Come here. Come here.
Good boy. Huh.
Come on, stand up. No, you gotta stand up. Stand up.
Tap, tap, tap. Now back. Tap, tap, tap. There you go. Good. And reel it in the leash. Good. Back tap, tap. Yep. Tap, tap. There you go. Hold right there. Good. Praise. You got a boy. We're gonna try that 4 more times.
Come on, bud. Come on. Come on. I know. I'm just gonna cuddle.
What was that?
He always does that.
Just like the half, like butt up and then tap, 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 tap. Then the leash tension. Good job. Tap back. There you go. Tap back, tap back. Good. Hold right there. Good. Good. Break. Do 3 more.
Brody, come here.
Tap, tap. Now back. Yep. There you go. A little bit better. A little bit better. Good. There he is. Attaboy. Good. Praise. And do 2 more.
Brody, hey, come here, bud. Come here. Brody, hey.
Yeah. Come on. There you go. Tap, tap, yep, tap, back, tap. There he is, attaboy. Good. Now here, tap, tap. We're gonna wait till we, we'll tap here actually. Tap, tap, tap. Now back, tap, 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 tap. There, now hold. There, praise. Good. Because he sat a little too far away from you. Now, I don't care where Brody lands personally. Left, right, tap, front, back, or between your legs. I care that he's within your immediate space. Okay? Exactly. So, if he lands outside of a 2 to 3 foot bubble of you, you would tap to see if he'll close the gap. Otherwise, like here, he started to move away. Then you keep tapping and move backwards to draw him in. Okay? We're going to do 1 more, then we're going to swap.
Come on, bud.
Tap, yep, tap. There you go, better. Excellent. Yep, good. Tap, back, tap. There he goes. A little bit closer. Tap, back, tap. Good move. Yep. Right there. Attaboy. Good job. Let's go and swap. So I'm gonna have you start the first one with a little bit of leash pressure, just to kind of help them for the first one. And then we're gonna do the same thing where you're gonna jump to the tapping first, and then apply the leash pressure. Yep, a little bit of a pull, that's fine. Yep, and then back, excellent. Hold right there. Now, yep, he came in, good. And praise. Yeah, boy. Good. Good. Break, break, break. He's already learning the game here. There we go. Good.
So do it slap this time?
Yes. So now you're going to do the tapping first, and then by the second or third tap, if you don't, like on that last one he did, he started to turn and actually move a little bit towards him, so you're starting to connect that. If you don't see that happening, then you'll keep tapping, but then add in that leash pressure. Tap, tap, there you go. Now back. Yep, good job. Hold right there. Good, praise, attaboy. Good. We're gonna do 4 more. Break, break.
Hey, come on. Brody.
Tap, tap, tap. Yep, and back. There you go. Good. Attaboy. Hold right there. Right. Good. Good. Break. Good. Do a couple more.
Come on.
After we finish this round, we're going to let him rest for a bit. I'll talk about practicing and stuff, and then we'll start adding in the word. Good. There you go. Good. Hold right there. Good boy. Good. 2 more. Where you going, buddy? Hey, yep, excellent. Hold right there. Now here, turn to face him, but step backwards. There you go, tap, tap, a little bit of a pull, tap, 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 hold right there. Good. I'm gonna do 1 more. Right? Yeah, hold that leash. Wait a moment. You ready? Tap, tap, tap. Yep, there you go. Good. Hold right there. Tap, tap, tap. Good move. Tap, tap. A little bit of pressure. Tap. There you go. Good. Hold right there. Excellent. And praise. Good. And break. Good. We'll let them rest for a second. Break it.
So then towards the end, he started replying or responding to those texts.
Good.
Okay, so we use leash in the beginning to direct him, because he's not going to know exactly what to do. But then once we get that foundation in, we try to wean that off as soon as possible, because ultimately that's the only thing you're going to have to communicate with him once he's off the leash.
Yep.
Okay? So the way that we're practicing right now is not realistic. Okay, like you guys aren't going to be holding Brody, just calling from each other. He's going to be actively doing stuff. But we have to set the foundation somehow. Okay, so that's how we do this. The way I practice this on my own, I like, Brody's got a good personality in the sense of, for training, it makes it easier for you, that he'll lead you. Okay? Because the biggest thing that people struggle with is that. Because once they do this, the dog's like, screw this, I don't want to lead anybody.
Yeah.
Okay? So then they can't practice the recall. But for him, he actually like releases and breaks away. So we definitely want to use that to our advantage. So like let's say, maybe you go to Oz and you take Brody, pop him on the long leash, and you tell him break, and you give him the full 30 feet, and you hold the end like I showed you with that handle, okay? And you let him be a dog. He can, run around, bark up a tree with squirrels and stuff like that. I use those things to practice the recall. So like I'll go and then just meander with him and let him be free, kind of like this here. And then let's say he gets, he sees a tree with squirrels, and he's like looking at it, he's like jumping, and the prey driver's coming out. I'll let him have at it for like, 5 minutes or so, and then I'll do a recall as he's doing that, okay? Check. What's the leash here? There you go. There you go, good. Is I'm letting him engage with something, and then letting him do it for a period of time, because the longer he does that, the more he's gonna forget about you, So he gets more disconnected. So then I pop in with that recall. And then now he's got to learn that he can do that stuff, but he's got to keep a part of his brain attentive to you, okay? And then once he comes back, good boy, then I wait a moment, make sure he doesn't try to preemptively run back to whatever the distraction is. Then I go break and let him go back to it. So then he's going, okay, cool, like I can do this stuff. They might call me, but then I get to go right back to it again, okay? So you can use those distractions as rewards as well. So if I have a dog that has good prey drive, I definitely use that to my advantage, okay? And you can throw in, like, so I had a client who lived across the street from like this huge, like, lot. Like, this was all grass. And every morning there was like, 50 geese or whatever, just like walking around. And his dogs loved chasing the geese. So he bought a 100-foot leash. And he went with his dog, and every morning he would let his dog go. But sometimes he would call his dog as he was running to the geese. Sometimes just before he got to the geese. Sometimes when he was in the middle of the geese. So he was practicing at all these different points. And within the week, he's like, yeah, Jesse, I can call my dog off anything now. Because he had a perfect, setup for him, right? So same thing for this guy. It's not always just calling him when he's already at the distraction. Okay? Good. It's also calling him maybe as he's in pursuit of the distraction. Okay? There's different points that we want to be aware of when it comes to the recall. Almost always people are going to use the command, the dog is chasing something, running towards something they shouldn't, like the street, running away from something. It's usually in a way motion, okay? So I try to take advantage of any of those opportunities. So like if, you're walking with them and all of a sudden starts chasing after like a running squirrel or a rabbit, I might think, let me try to recall as he's in pursuit right now, okay? And then he comes back, good boy, wait a moment, make sure he doesn't go back. Right, have at it, okay? Questions about this so far?
I don't think so, no. We have a good park by our house, yeah.
Cool. Here, just to kind of show you what we were doing, so we gave Brody the break, and he's free to do whatever. But then he starts to wander over there, okay? And I just said, yeah. And he went, oh, and like this, okay? So what you did there was you said, you can't go that way, okay? I don't care where you go, but you can't go that way. So the e-collar has a lot of different uses. There's, of course, the obedience, the come and the sit and the stay and all that stuff, but there's also more kind of nuanced communication. So like my dogs, when they're off leash, they'll run around, pee poop, sniff the ground, all that stuff all around me. But as I'm moving, you'll see them kind of keep within this radius. But then as I'm moving, maybe something gets their attention, and I don't need them to come to me. I just need them to not go so far. I just give a tap. And you'll see them coming closer, but they'll still keep with the engagement of what they're doing, because they understand that it simply means like, hey, you have to come a little closer, okay? So when you're working with Brody, like once you get to the point of having him off leash, if you call, let's say Brody's getting too far, and you call him and he returns, and then you go, okay, break, he might just go right on the way back to where he was. Because you didn't say, hey buddy, that's too far, you said, get him over here. So when you release him, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to what I was doing then. Okay? So it's just whenever you're working with him or whenever you're out with him, like utilizing this stuff, just keep that in mind. Because a lot of people do that, or like their dog will be barking at something, and they'll call their dog back, and then when they release their dog, the dog goes back to barking at whatever the distraction was. And they'll tell them, yeah, because you called the dog. The dog came back. That's what you wanted, right? And so yeah. But I also want the dog to stop barking. Well, then you just tap the dog for barking. To teach them, don't do that, okay? So just keep that in mind. So what we're gonna do here, same exercise, but now we're gonna add in the verbal cue of Brody, come, okay? Now I tend to say the dog's name prior to the come command. All the other commands I just say the word. With come, because people typically also use the name as kind of come as it is, right? Like, hey Brody. So I just attach it to the word as well. So everything's gonna stay the same, so now you're gonna cue Brody come. Now let's say you cue him and he starts running to you. You're still gonna tap at least once. Okay? And I'll talk about that after we practice that a bit. But every time you call him, even if he turns, tap at least once, and then everything else stays the same. Okay?
Are we tapping as we say the word just starting?
Just after. So Brody come, tap.
Yeah. Loose or?
Yeah, just how you were practicing it with the slack. Brody come, tap, right? And then if needed, you would kick in with the pressure, the leash pressure.
Brody, come.
Yep, and then back, 1, 2, that's good right there. Tap, tap, back, tap, tap, tap. Yep, hold right there.
If he starts going in, can you ask? Can you say again, Brody come?
Here I just tap, because you want to teach him to not leave your side after you've called him. So that was a premature break there.
Should I be tapping that?
Yeah. Tap, 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 tap. Lightly leash pressure up on the grab. There you go. Wait, and tap. Okay, just because he's so spazzy, we're going to be more strict with him.
Yeah.
Usually I don't care as long as the dog is stationary, but for Brody, we'll be more strict. Okay, it's going to release. And when you do the come, I want you to use a up note.
Okay.
So think Brody come, as opposed to Brody come. Because out when there's sounds and vehicles and dogs barking, higher pitched noises carry over noise better.
Brody, come.
Good. Hold right there. Right. Attaboy. Good. Yep. So now he's already learning. Good.
Brody, come.
Good. And hold right there. That's good. Nice. Good. We're going to do a couple more, then we're going to swap.
Brody, come.
Good. Nice. One more.
Brody, come.
Good. Hold right there. Tap. Take a step back. Tap. 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 Good. Now what I'm going to have you do here is let that left hand go. You're going to say the word heel, and you're going to walk towards this way.
Heel.
Turn. Tap. 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 Good. Turn inwards. towards Bro. There, he's back on your left. You're good. Now forward. Turn again. Tap and bump it. You're at what number now?
63.
Let's go to 70. Good. Now he's back on your left. Heel.
Heel.
Turn. Tap. 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 You're good. Keep moving. Tap. Tap. Go ahead and try to reel in some leash here. Tap. He's coming. Good. Let's go to 75. Heel. There you go. Good. Good. Yeah, be careful with your leash so you don't get tangled up there. There you go. Give some slack. That's good.
Heel.
Turn. Tap. 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 There he goes. Good. Good. He is super spazzy. Heel. All right, so now he's getting ahead again, right? So let's go to 80. This is good. Careful. Yep. And let's shorten it halfway. We're going to give him 15 feet to make life easier for you. That's good. And go ahead and just turn to your right. There you go. Forward to your right. Tap right again. There you go. So you're doing the same movements as if he was on a short leash. Okay, careful. Now here, if you do a tap, you have to turn. So turn. There you go. And then forward. Tap forward. There he goes. Tap forward. Keep forward. Yep. Keep forward. Pull, pull, pull. Tap. Pull. Tap. There he goes. Pull. Pull. That's okay. Pull. 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 Yep. There he goes. Now this way. There you go. Good. Okay. There you go. Hold your leash right there and lock it. Okay. Now forward. Turn. All right. So anytime he cuts ahead of you, you want to do that 180. You're good. So then turn, yep, to your right again, good, and just walk up along the wall there, that's good. So here, careful. Now go ahead and do a pivot. Good. Now, yeah, so you have, there you go, good. Good. Now just keep your pace right how you have it. Keep it there. Good. Try a pivot again. And give a little slack on that left hand. Give a couple of feet of slack. There you go. And then lock. That's good right there. Lock it. And then forward, heel.
Heel.
Good. Good. Pivot. Good. Yeah, and start to hug towards the left a little bit. There you go. Now 180 turn. There you go. Good move. And then forward. Good. Good. Pivot. Good. Now walk a little slower, but keep forward. Right. Good move. Yeah, you got to do that turn. Good job. Pivot again. Now come to a stop. Good. Right. So, in most cases, the dog will just pop into heel, right? But him, he started assuming, I'm going to go to you because we're going to do another repetition, whatever, right? So then, everything, so you can transition to no leash, essentially, is what I'm trying to show you here. All we're doing is changing the length of the leash. We went from a 6-foot leash to now a 30-foot leash, right? To make life easier, we said shorten it halfway, so he has 15 foot of slack. So essentially you have a 15 foot with stay on. Okay? So if Brody gets ahead of me, that turn, it's the same. Everything that you've done with the crossovers and the pivoting, it all remains the same, except now Brody can get up to 15 feet away, or 30 feet away, or whatever room pool leash is. Right? So to start building towards off-leash reliability, if you'd like, it's really just when you go to the park and you switch to your long leash and maybe give Brody some time to like be a dog and practice a recall or two, and then you throw in what we call long leash heel. And I'm walking, through the park with Brody in the heel, but he's got, a 30-foot or 50-foot leash dragging behind him, and I have the end of it.
okay? And then I practice turning and moving away from him, forcing separation, okay? Now we had to go even higher. We had to go to 8 before he started going, holy crap, maybe I should start paying attention, right? But then you see those increments, and then as soon as you turn, right away he was like this. So right after that I go, okay, well then 55 clearly wasn't working, because right after he got tapped on 55, he was more than happy to just start forcing again. So then that's why I bumped it and bumped it and bumped it. And eventually once we got 80, then he was like, whoa, wait a minute. And he started pumping the brakes a bit more, okay? So this is just to show you, if you'd like to advance his obedience, if like, off-leash is obviously the pinnacle of dog training. Is if you can do no leash, then leash technically shouldn't be a problem. Does that make sense? So we'll go ahead, we're going to go dip down our number, we're going to tell Brody break, and we're going to swap handlers.
Break.
Well, we got 63.
Oh, we'll do a couple more of the comes. Yeah, 63. So same thing, Brody, come, tap, tap, and then leash pressure if needed.
Brody, come.
Yep, good. Yep, good. Tap back, good. Tap back, tap back, tap back, good. Good. Praise. Good.
Brody, come.
Tap, 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 good. Do you see how she's going to her, he's going to her now? It's because of all those 80s you did. He's like, Mom is the answer right now. Good. Praise. We're going to do one more, and then I'll have you try that long leash heel.
Brody, come.
Wait, you're not sitting.
Brody, come.
Good. Yep, good. Excellent. And I'll have you do the same thing. You'll just cut the leash in half. We'll do about 15 feet of slack. And heel. Yep, good move, good move. Yep, tap, good. There you go. Try doing a left turn after this one. You're good. There you go. Now what I'm going to have you try is you'll pivot, you'll go back, and I'm going to have you walk with Brody on the inside here, past Mom, to see if he'll break from. Yeah, now forward, tap, move forward. There you go, tap. There you go, good. Or if he'll stay to your side. Good. Good. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, so keep moving, and then tapping, and then you're probably gonna have to reel in some leash here as you're moving, and then keep moving away, tap. There you go, tap. Yeah, there he goes. And then turn in, there you go, now forward, so that he's back on your left. We're gonna try that again. Good. Right, keep moving, tap, 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 a little bit better that time, tap, 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 pull, tap, tap, good, tap, good. I'm gonna try that one more time. Good move, yep. And go and just walk past this way.
Yep.
Good. And one more time, you'll just pivot to walk them on the inside.
Go back this way.
You're good right here. Just curve, or yeah, there you go. There you go, right. Good. All right, there's hope for you yet, buddy. So, using just each other for distractions, right? So cutting that leash in half just makes it easier, and that's more so for the sake of space. Because once he glues to someone, because we did recall as well, right? So now he's got to differentiate between, are we doing recall or are we, right? So the reason why the movement back or the movement forward is important when we're doing this is to help him differentiate. So if you're at the park and you call Brody and you're moving backwards, that means come to me, right? But if we're doing heel and he gets away from you and you're moving away from him, that means you need to return to my left side, okay? Now it's important, if Brody, for instance, took off to my right side and I keep moving forward and I'm tapping, it's gonna be harder for him to connect because he has to come around. So what I do is I'll turn inwards, so now Brody's on my left side as I move, and it'll help him connect coming to my side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So here, when you went over, and I think you reversed into like a recall, you would actually just keep that movement like this, and then that's why the leash is so important right now, because if I have the leash in my hands, I'm not worried about Brody running away, and I just keep that movement and tapping, so eventually he's like, okay, going to mom isn't the answer, what do I need to do? Oh, I see dad walking away, what happens if I run to the side? Boom, everything turns off. Okay? So good. That was good. Any questions about this?
Is this one we can do, timeline, like being in the park, we probably won't be able to go to the park twice a day.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Once a night.
So recall takes people the longest to teach,
Yeah.
because it requires you to go somewhere. And your training is only as good as the environments you teach it, okay? So that's why I try to teach this as early as possible, so you can just start tackling it. I get clients in Lincoln Park that live right across those big grass lots. I don't know if you guys have been there, by like the zoo or whatever. And there's, I have like a handful of clients that let their dogs go play off leash. So they have a perfect setup because they can just practice with each other's dogs and stuff. But for a lot of people, if they don't have that, they have to go somewhere. You might go like a few times a week. It's going to take longer. Okay, there's no rush for this. You do want to make sure that you take the time to go through the stages. For me, we go from short leash to long leash dragging, to no leash enclosed area, to no leash unenclosed area. That's the progress for line that I give people. Okay, now I do get a lot of clients that skip steps. Okay, now my only concern is with skipping steps. So when I said when you call Brody, make sure you always tap, is because if I'm Brody, and you call me, and he turns, and you tap him after his turn, what do you think might happen?
He gets confused.
Right, he's gonna think he did the wrong thing. So then he goes the opposite way, right? So that's why I say right now when you call him, always tap him, because I want to force the confusion, right? The more often I do that, the more likely I'm gonna mistap, okay? So then I can proof my obedience. So that's one aspect of it, and I have another exercise that we'll cover next week that I do as well to force mistakes so that we can prove the obedience. And then once everything's been taught with the recall, what I like to do is I'll go out randomly one day with the long leash and max out the collar. And it's just 127 and see what he does, okay? It's gonna start. Some dogs run straight too. Perfect, good. Some dogs freak out and try to run away. Then I put that tension in 127 to make them return, because in case of an emergency, you're going to be at 127. So what we're doing is we're like priming him, and we're making him familiar with when you get that level of intensity, always just assume, even if you've heard nothing, to run back to me, okay? And I've had plenty of clients have some shit happen, and they're like, Jesse, man, I was at 127 continuous before the dog even responded, and it yelped and jumped in the air, but 180 right back to me. And I go,
that's what happens, that's what we do, you know? Because like if he's running away from something like fireworks because he's scared of them, you have to make him more scared of running away from you than he is about running away from fireworks. Does that make sense? That has nothing to do with obedience, because he's like every dog for himself. You know, explosions in the air, stuff like that. So that's like, no, bud, like, you're gonna have to come back. So by doing that exercise, because not only is it hard on the dog, but emotionally for the owner, like, when things are going wrong and you're trying to figure things out within that moment, it's stressful. So it's like you're just trying to go through yourself and the dog to know what to do in an emergency situation. And then once you've tried it, it's like, okay, cool, at least like we're that much better, or that much, we have that much higher of a success rate if I'm ever gonna have to crank it up, because he's already been through it before. Okay?
Cool.
Questions?
I don't think so. Next weekend, we're out of town, but he's actually gonna be boarding here.
Oh, sure.
So then we'll be just one more week at the end.
Okay, yeah.
We're gone Thursday through Sundays.
Okay, no problem. Have this little spazzy boy.
Yeah, good luck.